political corruption. It's not about production. It's all about destruction of the society.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. When you thought we weren't going to get on, we did. We decided to get the gerbil an extra pill, and he's running wide open with Upcountry Fiber this evening. Hello, everyone. We're a little bit late, 14 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. And yes, that's Hobbs the dog. He is here this evening here. We are live from the Keller Williams Realty here in beautiful Westminster, South Carolina. Charles Morgan has graciously opened up his beautiful location here to have us here this evening, and we are glad to have you with us. We have tons of stuff. Somebody's playing their phone there. There we go. Okay, Chris, go ahead and take your phone. There you go. Hey, welcome in. Glad to have you with us. We've got a great show lined up for you this evening, and we got a lot to talk about this evening, don't we, guys?
Oh, boy.
And gals, and
Yes.
and Kathy, and
It's going to be a great show.
you and your new glasses there.
What do you mean?
You want to tell you about your glasses there, your LED glasses?
Well, what do you mean? Sometimes things are dark after my cataract surgery. It just helps me see. Why is it?
I just wondering.
You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I think they're chilled
Are those snowflake glasses?
Are they who?
Is that a snowflake? Or is that like an atom in the middle?
It's an atom.
Oh,
it's an atom.
he's been the world of energy.
I mean, I
That's
can
what it is.
change them even. This is Timu.
All right.
You've always got
Hey, I
yourself.
want to do a quick shout out to my friend Christine from Hardee's and her friends
Yes, go ahead.
in Westminster. Thank you. Sorry we had technical difficulties, but now we're on.
I think we are. Everybody check in if we're
Thank you
on.
for my senior drink at the discount.
Good Lord. More technical problems. I got to go to the backup phone over here. Hold on. Just keep on going and just go ahead and start the show.
And while we're giving shout outs,
Yes.
I'd like to give a shout out to Bruce Taylor.
Okay.
Bruce Taylor, I tell you what, if it wasn't for people like him in this county, we wouldn't have a county.
You sure about that?
I'm absolutely sure.
Okay.
Kathy, you want to do any shout outs?
I don't think I have any shout-outs this week.
Wow. Okay. All
Nobody
right.
has any shout outs?
I got a shout out.
But I got to tell you,
Abby and Anthony and Gladys.
Yeah.
I think this is absolutely great that
And
Charles
Lori Bright.
has decided to allow us to use his office. This is good.
This is cool.
All right, Randy, put your microphone closer.
And I like
Can you hear
this
me now?
guy.
I got you now.
All right.
Look at this guy.
So, and everybody check out our banner back here. Let's talk
Yeah.
Oconee. We're
Yeah.
going to have that in the parade and Christmas.
At
Yeah, you're
Christmas.
on.
And we'll be out here for the Bigfoot parade.
Yes. Yeah. We got a Bigfoot parade coming up in October.
Like my
We'll be here.
mascot.
Yeah.
And then is Hobbs or no? Boy,
Bigfoot?
don't tell Bud that. Bud's gonna get upset.
I know. Don't
Big-
tell him I'm cheating on him.
Yeah.
Big brown dogs. All right. So are you ready?
You go ahead. I got issues.
All right. Well, so what do we want to talk about first?
Well, I want to talk about my taxes.
Your taxes.
don't get too caught up because I have.
Okay, I won't talk. I don't want to talk about my taxes yet.
You wanna
But
talk
we
about
do.
zoning?
Oh Lord, did you say? Hey, what does everybody think about the?
What about
the new city?
The vegetable Voltaire?
Oh.
Which one is that?
The poet laureate of the southern part of the county.
Yeah.
Did y'all read that?
The what now?
The vegetable
The
Voltaire.
poet laureate of the southern part of the county.
Who the heck is that?
The booger eater was in the paper today.
Yeah.
Oh, I did read the Booger Eater Rambler.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about
No,
the
the op-ed
Yeah.
I did read that.
where he called himself. He said, "Look, the thing about it
My
was
dog read it too.
The big bunch of
he,
ridiculousness.
he said that he represents Oakway as their EC. Well, he doesn't. He's a liar. Jonathan Leach is the EC for down there.
I
but
thought
he's-
he was
Randy,
an
he-
independent like me.
But he's older. He might have forgotten.
Well,
Was he ever?
That's the thing about you old guys. You flip flop like
What
a
do you
set
mean?
of Crocs.
I
One
started
side,
GE
this
in
side.
1892.
Well,
What
I
do you
mean,
mean?
Sorry.
You telling me I didn't? And I was the CEO.
well, I tell you what.
I mean,
If you believe what those people tell you, I must have started SpaceX.
Well, yeah.
You probably did. Hey,
But hey, I got
Go
I got a milkman story for you.
go ahead real quickly because I need
real-
to get into the
real
meat of the
quick.
show.
remember where we are.
All right, so I was delivering the milk, right? And I was up there in
You were
in
delivering El Leche?
LHA up in Mountain Rest, and I knocked on the door,
Were you with anybody?
No, listen. Let me tell the story. I had the milk jugs in my hand. I rang the doorbell, and it opened up, and it was like 6 women in there, and they're like, "Me first, me first, me first," and all I could think back was Ric Flair saying one time, and I said, "Ladies, listen."
Oh shit!
I said, "Look,
sorry.
listen." I said, "Ladies,
I take
ain't
that
none
back.
of y'all."
No dirty talk.
I said, "Ain't none of y'all can be first, but you can all be next."
Dang. So we're gonna. Hey, well, wait a minute. Now let's just get serious about this. Serious.
Right down to the
We have
weeds.
something very important and serious that we want to talk about
Yeah, I do. I've got an interview that we need to do. We need to
right
schedule.
now.
Yeah,
Or
right
okay,
now.
well,
Right now.
After the interview, we have a special event. It won't take long.
Okay.
It's an award. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Back on Monday night, our friends from the Oconee County School District had their meeting. And
Yes.
in one person in attendance, of course, was Lynne Martin from the Salem community. And Lynne, I want to welcome you to our broadcast this evening here on Let's Talk Oconee. Lynne, how are you this evening?
I'm very well. How are you?
It sounds like you're at some sort of volleyball game. Would I be correct?
I am.
That's what I thought. I could have assumed
yes.
that. Lynne,
I'm trying to find a quiet corner.
let me know if you find one. Hey, you were in attendance Monday night with the school district, and for everyone that's listening this evening, I kind of want to go back a little bit in time. The word has gotten out that, of course, the school district in their long-term building plan, they had mentioned in that building plan that they wanted to close Tamassee-Salem Elementary and Kiwi Elementary. But let's go back a few even years before that. What was that effect when they decided to close the Tamassee-Salem High School?
Of course, there was an outpouring of our whole community and students to save that school, and all our pleas fell on deaf ears. And even since then, I have heard so many people across this county saying how wrong Salem was done, and I'll always believe that. We were a wonderful school, small school, academic achiever. We've had wonderful graduates from our school, and smaller schools produce better students. They're not lost out in some big system. And the bad thing is that a lot of our students were lost because they would not go to another school. They felt anxiety going to a larger school. Here they were pairing us with a rival, and that's just really kind of a hard thing to try to maneuver. So we were in a horrible situation. Now, granted, we've had students that did go there, and I don't know how much the attendance did go up when they closed our school, but I know that a lot were lost in that transition, and I'm very sad about that.
Well, Lynn, with the transition, there was a lot of things. I believe that the way that it was handled there was a lot of missteps in the calculation of the changeover when they closed Tamassee-Salem High School. But for our listening folks, I want to go back a few years, and as we were having this discussion this week, setting this interview up, there was a referendum back in the late 90s that overwhelmingly was passed to keep Tamassee-Salem High School open. Do you remember that referendum?
I have been trying to focus on that, and the one that comes to mind to me is the referendum that went out to the entire county
Yes.
about voting for the superintendent. And that was voted down throughout this whole county, like 60-40, to continue to vote for a superintendent. And so I remember that one more than I do the other one. And I don't know why. I don't have the recollection of that. And I've been trying to do some history tracking on it. So that's still in the works.
What can we do as a collective community? I know that you had a lot of folks that attended the school board meeting. I know that you and your husband was there. There was another great comment from a gentleman. I don't know his name off the top, but he wasn't from around here, but he actually made some great comments about the whole issue about these schools. What can we do as a community to help the Tamassee-Salem community, keep the doors open for the elementary school?
First of all, we need to save our school. We need to preserve that site and the students, everything on site for the future, because there will be future growth. and not only to protect our community, but to protect the students as well. And we need to help Kiwi. I mean, Kiwi needs a school, and my thoughts are, let Kiwi have a school on their site. Let's stop wasting land, wasting farmland. You know, to me, preservation and conservation should start in the school system and stop wasting and leaving buildings to become dilapidated. They need to take care of the buildings that they have and build for the future. Like one of the speakers the other night said, there are other schools and cities that are 80 years old. We need to stop tearing down, and we need to preserve and fix what we have and help communities.
I agree. Do you anybody have a question for Lynn while we're on?
You know, the county has long been in a position to abandon buildings. If you go downtown Walhalla and you see the old courthouse that's falling apart and all the windows are busted out of it, if you close down something like Kiwi or Tamassee-Salem, they're even further away from the public eye, and their broken windows will start much sooner, and it'll be a real mess. There's no doubt about that.
Well, we do have a habit, Rainey. We do have a habit of shutting schools down, and they sit there and they deteriorate and they rot for many years. And we've got a situation, and I know Lynn can attest to this. They're actually have done something to keep Tamassee-Salem High School by converting it into the Eagle Nest Art Center. And Lynn, you guys have done a wonderful job trying to bring local artists and community for that community. Tell a little bit about Eagle Nest Art Center.
Oh, it has been a labor of love for our whole communities to breathe life back into that whole facility. We started just renovating the auditorium, bringing it up to ADA, fire safety codes, and having events. You know, our first intention was to allow the charter school that we had at the time a venue for their programs and graduation. And fortunately, we did get it completed just in time for them to graduate. So we got to graduate the last class of the next school, Eagle Ridge. But it is our hope and our prayer that one day we'll have another school in the form of a homeschool, a co-op. I would love for it to be a middle school. I have visited many middle schools, and that's where children often get lost in those middle school years. And we could nurture a small group. And if you look on homeschools, those lists are growing. Homeschools are growing. So I think public education really needs to look at what parents are truly looking for their children.
Okay. Well, Lynn, we do appreciate you taking time out to do through as we keep going through the months and years of this. Please keep us up to date. And if there's anything we can do with you from the show and also the radio station, reach out to me anytime, and I'd love to be able to continue this conversation. So hopefully that we can stop this madness and keep Tamassee-Salem and Kiwi Elementary open.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And please come out and see us Saturday night at the Eagles Nest Art Center. You will be pleasantly surprised at the little shows that we're putting on for $10 that helps us save that wonderful, precious place.
Well, there is a rumor that I heard Elvis is coming back to Salem. Is that true?
Elvis is coming October the 14th. Absolutely. Yes, he is.
And that's not Jazzy Jeff Elvis. I'm not coming. I'm going to come watch the show. So
Are you coming or are you going?
I'm going to be up there singing Hunk of Burning Love. You know what I mean? I think you do. Lynn, hey, get back to watching your daughter, or granddaughter, right? It's your granddaughter that plays volleyball. That's what I thought. So go back and watch her, and good luck. And go Bobcats. Is that right?
Yes.
So, all right.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Lynne Martin from the Salem community. And, of course, we got to talk about the Tamassee-Salem elementary issue. And, again, I want to put the word out. You folks in Kiwi, you need to show up now. Kiwi Elementary and that Kiwi community needs to be representative for your voices to be heard, because Salem did a great job bringing them out. Kiwi, you're going to lose your school, and I know how this works. I've just seen it too many times. And the way that consolidation was handled between Walhalla and Tamassee-Salem, I think everybody will agree that was putrid. And I was here during that whole mess. I remember the hate and just the way that the superintendent portrayed himself again.
Well, can you hear me, Jeff?
Yeah.
It seems to me like during that situation those years ago, that the superintendent didn't have any emotional intelligence skills whatsoever. He didn't didn't take into consideration the needs of the community and just went ahead and destroyed a community to make a super school, which my children went to Walhalla High School. It's a wonderful high school. It's beautiful. It's one of the best looking schools that I've been in anywhere I've ever lived. But
What about the resources?
but the thing here is, if you look at the data that the school system has, and you've got twice the number of teachers at that school than they do per student at other schools, it seems to be critical that something might need to happen. I don't think that Tamassee-Salem Elementary School needs to close, but if you've got a $3.5 million air conditioner problem at Kiwi,
Well, they're already going to spend the money to fix it.
but there's going to be other issues.
Well, I know what
So-
I know what needs to happen more than anything in the world, and I hope that the school board would listen. It's time to take a look at attendance lines in Oconee County.
That's where I was getting at.
We've got
Yeah.
to take a look at the attendance line because they've not been looked at in quite a few years, and in the areas there's going to be exponential growth in certain areas that may wind up putting Kiwi at a forefront to be able to help out the Seneca area schools, because we'll get into this conversation shortly. Picture this. We're going to put 1,800 potential homes in an area off 130. What is that going to do?
Exactly.
Well, I just want to interject here that school out in Tamassee-Salem happens to have a special needs teacher that I happen to know is fabulous at what she does. And another thing is, being the mom of a special needs student, they don't adjust well to change.
They don't.
And it is cruel, especially at the elementary age, to yank a child up and move them around like that. So if they've got a good program, they need to leave those kids alone.
Leave it alone.
You need to leave that school alone. Like Jeff said, redraw the lines. You know, if there's only 200 kids and that's such a big issue, there's like 700-800 at Walhalla Elementary. You know, I'm sure there's kids coming from over that way. I don't know how many there are at James M. Brown, you know, and really, if you look at the distance, the schools are not that far apart. I mean, and both those schools are closer to Tamassee-Salem than Kiwi is.
Well, if you take a look, Walhalla L and Kiwi, and then Walhalla L and Tamassee-Salem is just a hop and skip down Highway 11.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
you've got an area right in that general area that needs to be looked at, but you also have the growth that's happening from the north side of Seneca now.
Well, when Waynesville goes in there, and you've got 1,900. Charles, how many houses are going on that 700 acres?
It's like 1,894.
1,894 homes.
Oh, I'm sure they won't have any children there.
2,000.
But the thing about
And that's Seneca.
But the thing about it is those homes, townhomes, and small single family homes are designed for young families.
I just want you to know,
So,
remember this statement,
1,800
Oconee
times
is
two.
not growing.
But here's
Because
the
of
thing:
the
1,800.
census. That's
Yeah.
what you use to figure out if a place is
But
growing.
2,000 homes times 2.5 kids, that's 5,000 more kids coming into the school district.
Hold on, Chris. I want to share a comment. Morgan Check said tonight on our show, the potential for 1,800 homes off 130 is the greatest showing of value money over community that I've seen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when you look at these schools, you look at the smaller schools, the problem you're running into is the reality of we have the growth, like you said, and you have the money. And then when you start looking at the numbers and people just look at the numbers and consolidations and things like that, then you start uprooting special needs and things like, this is a very complicated subject. It's not easy. And not only that, you've got parents that have a lot of emotions tied to this because of their children. So what that basically boils down to is you have to be very sensitive and smart about planning. That's a part of the infrastructure. You've, like Jeff said, you've got this growth coming. You've got these, these 8,000 homes or 7,000 homes that we've talked about over the last year.
Yeah, you take a look at all the stuff that we've got going on.
Right.
Not just this potential development. You've got development happening in Westminster.
Exactly.
You've got development happening in right now. The concentration of this development, and I may be wrong, but Charles, the concentration of the development is Seneca. Seneca right now is the concentration of all of this development from Wells Highway with the new Takena Crossroads. Well, not Takena Crossroads, but on Takena Highway. That's a new one. You've got another one going to be built up on Wells Highway past the Dollar General towards Seneca Middle School, right beside Seneca
You
Middle
mean
School.
it's not out there where the sewer is?
Yeah, but think about this. So what you're talking about is you don't have the integration with this school board and this planning commission that is a lame duck and the county council, hit or miss. So you've got the school board trying to, okay, so what the hell are we gonna do? Because they don't know where the growth is. All of a sudden this pops up and they see it. Oh crap, now what do we do? What do we do about these schools?
Honestly,
you have a mishmash of decisions being made because you don't have, we have a comprehensive plan that we paid 80 grand for, but we're not following it, and we're getting surprised everywhere. Right?
I agree. Roger just said something that I agree with too. The council says the development is Seneca's problem. Hey, they build in sewer to nowhere. He's telling the truth.
He's not lying.
I got another comment. Luke says, without infrastructure allowances and spacing homes equally, you get about a third acre per home. There's roads and commercial aspects, you'll be around a quarter acre. It's about guaranteed to be, he makes sense. They got to put sewer on this.
Do you remember, Randy?
Well, they'll have to be sewer.
Well, now I want to say something about sewer. There is a high pump lift station in that general area, but they're going to have to send it to Neary.
But you can't put septic tanks on townhomes.
Well, yeah, I don't think you can put septic tanks on that area down there either, because there's a little bit of thing called the Army Corps of Engineers.
But
Part of that property's got
But
governor.
if you got 6 homes with 3 bedrooms, that's 18 bedrooms going into a septic tank. That thing would have to be 3,000 gallons or better.
I know. I mean, it's a DHEC regulation. But what I'm saying is there is a massive lift pump station that Seneca installed years ago for Neary. Remind me one day off the air, tell you the story about the toilets blowing up one time in Neary because of sewer. That was hilarious. Do you remember that, Charles, when the toilets blew up in
Not
Neary?
if you live there.
Yes, the sewer blew up. Yes, that actually legitimately happened. Toilets blew up in beautiful Neary, South Carolina.
That sounds like a real shitty situation.
That was a bad, shitty situation.
Okay, the last thing I want to say.
Yep, then you've got to do something.
So it's like, the problem is, it's like a moving target. With all these things popping up and no consolidated planning and not even being connected, it's almost virtually impossible for people to do any type of planning for the schools, for the infrastructure. Just like what you just said when we talked about the sewer. And Randy, when you talk about these townhouses, that means, are we going to be changing what's going to happen at Sewer South now?
No. No. But I will say this, that our friend David Dowell actually got to take a tour of that area down there and see for himself, because he is a representative to the Joint Regional Sewer Authority. And I had a conversation with him, and we had a conversation today, and I said,
was he confused?
Well, I don't think he was confused, but there's a couple of issues that I brought up to his attention. Number one, we had a major utility company by the name of Duke Energy that came in and had to wind up spending millions and millions of dollars to run utility lines under Lake Kiwi. They hired one company. One company got it so far, and the bit broke.
You mean the Kiwi School Road?
I'm talking about the Kiwi School
4
Road
miles
project.
from my house,
Right,
yep.
that's right. I'm talking about that project.
3 years.
So, again, they had to get another company in, and they had to get another company in. We're talking millions and millions of dollars that Duke had to pay to run power lines under Lake Kiwi. Okay, that's power lines. So David for himself has actually seen you're going to have to do the same thing down at exit 2 and to 1. You got to run it under Lake Hartwell. Now, they did a bore sample with a bore scope. They did a sample. Well, that's kind of up on the top area of the lake. Well, there's no rocks here. You have no clue what's going to happen because it's got to go 20 feet under the bottom of the lake bed. So if you got a depth of 20 feet, it's got to go 20 more up to the bottom of Lake Hartwell.
That's an engineering nightmare.
Well,
That is a civil engineering nightmare.
You don't know what you're going to find. So here's what could potentially happen. And yes, time's going to tell. This little project, that $12 million that we're paying for to get the sewer,
You mean 18?
well, whatever. 12 million is
That's
what
what
they
they
got.
say.
That's what they say. It could cost a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that I'm going to give you another something to ponder and smoke over. They're asking for $25 million bond.
That we don't know what's going to be used for.
I just want you to think about that for a
This
few
week.
moments, that there is a potential, and I'm calling this as I see it. I don't even think there's a contingency. If there is, it's not going to be $1 million contingency to do this, to bore. But I will tell you this: there's a whole lot more coming to, if you just take a look and you stop and smell the roses. And remember, what did we say a year ago about the variable of Sewer South?
That it was a nightmare.
Exit 1 and 2 going under Lake Hartwell. So again, give it a little bit of time. We just getting warmed up, folks.
Well, with sewer, you got to have water, or sewer don't work. And they got to run all those water lines, but they can't be ran near the sewer line. So
Exit 4 would have been such
And we haven't
a
heard-
better choice. And I have preached that from day one. So
But
that
the
first
thing
phase
that
should have been
I
exit
hear,
4.
the thing that I hear the most is the OJSRA doesn't know anything about what's going on.
Yes.
Well, Mayor Brian Ramey kind of, and Chris in the paper.
Pioneer Water hasn't said anything about putting water anywhere. So this is like Sarah Palin's bridge to nowhere. There's nobody backing this. You have to have water to run the sewer. But and it takes
We always.
Yeah, but when you look at all this, you're looking
still,
looking north of 60 million.
Still,
Can-
there's
at least.
no companies with pen to paper saying, "Hey, when y'all get that sewer in, I'm gonna come put my company out there.
Yeah.
Let me know."
It's always we go ahead and jump off the deep end before we even stop
Well,
and have a conversation
well,
and
what was
say,
it-
wait.
It's not like you don't have a track record with Golden Court or Commerce Park.
And now Tony Adams is worried about how bad it looks, and it's an eyesore, and there's nobody going to come in and want to purchase that property. Well, I want him to know, and I responded to him
What
in a
property?
comment, the Golden Corners Commerce property, that you had a previous council that wouldn't want to pay the money to go down there and grade it and clean it up. That's a fact.
Yep.
it is fact.
Remember, this is the greatest line I've said. We are still paying for the sins of previous councils, and we're still paying for them. We're paying for 25 years ago when everything was kicked down. You know, there was already this thing with growth coming into the county. 25 years ago, the growth was already starting, but we said, no. We never had anybody to have the vision to say, okay, wait a minute. There's a lot of people coming to Oconee County.
That's just weekenders.
That's right. It's just
Just in the
weekenders.
Summer
last,
people, just summer
in the
people.
last year, last 9 months. No, you had Durham and you had Nick's.
You got both of them.
No growth, and then all of a sudden this stuff was blown up like that. Because and in the end, it's like, guys, they may have been kicking the can for so many years, but you hire new people when you vote. And they don't have that luxury of continually blaming previous administration.
Well, here's the thing, and this is not Matt Durham's fault. This is nobody's fault, really. The census that they wanted to keep talking about, the 2020 census. The 2020 census was a failure.
Well, it was a failure
Well-
because you're going
well-
through COVID at the time, too.
And here's the thing. The non-response rate, the census in 2020, it's like there's like 26 million people or houses that did not respond. And because of COVID, census takers weren't allowed to go and do that. And then starting in October of 2023 is the first time that they're going to start going out with the American Community Survey and start making contact with those that didn't respond. So it's going to be 2026 before the 2020 census is completed.
Well,
Okay,
and
but-
that's not how you get an accurate portrayal of who's actually in. That's kind of a dead document because that says where you are at the moment that you fill it out.
Right.
That's not going to say where you're going to be 6 months from now. So just like our friend Larry says, GIS is one of the better tools. Also, you're going to go with school records, DMV records, employment records. You need all these other working things to determine how many people are in a county. I mean, it's just nonsense. What to go with the census? Come on, why don't we get an Encyclopedia Britannica for some information?
Yeah, but
Hello?
using the census or whatever they used to make those statements was pure deflection away from what we talked about the overload of the infrastructure and doing the proper planning.
You want to know?
Nick said the only time we had an influx of the population was in the summer with the lake.
Yeah.
So that means that all these new homes, it's like the Hamptons, okay? They're all the people that are summering here for the. I mean, that's just ludicrous.
Going to
That's
Kellerman's.
crazy.
Hey, but I'll tell you this, and Charles, you probably agree with me. All secondary homes generally turn into primary homes at some point.
Right, but we do
So-
know that's all.
so-
that,
But here's the thing, with this, you want to know how many people live in a county? Why don't you start by looking at how many houses are vacant and available or for sale?
Is the inventory still low in Oconee County for homes?
Yes, we are historically low over the,
So if
And
we're
it's been that way for about 3 years now. Is what we're about looking at as far as the market for homes. So, okay, so we're asking a real estate person.
We're Googling Charles. We got Google Charles over
So
there.
we're asking him, a
Hey.
real estate person, wait a minute,
Right.
a real estate person that actually sells real estate for a living. There you go. There's the market.
But the thing about it is the Association of Realtors knows exactly how many people aren't here. So if you take that number by the number that are here, you know what little bit of growth we can have without building more houses, right?
And there are professional consulting firms that it doesn't cost that much to do a true projection. And when you don't do these things that are legitimate, you end up with what we just talked about. A problem with the schools.
Yep.
Right? A problem with the infrastructure of the sewer.
Yep.
I mean, it's a nightmare. Who's getting rich?
if I may, it's not only the problem with sewer, but water, road usage. You've got so many variables at play when you start talking about a 1900, unit.
Charles, come here.
We'll get Charles on the microphone because I think this would be a good conversation. We'll get Charles Morgan on the air real quickly to explain this. Charles, explain what you were saying.
Well, so when you start talking about, just basic, 1900 homes, you've got sewer, you've got water. How big's the water line? Is it a 2-inch, 3-inch, 5-inch, or 6-inch? Whatever the size water line needs to be to go to that community. You've got electrical service. So I can tell you as a realtor that over the past couple of months I've been out by the 6 Mile Walmart, Durham's General Store,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so you go out there and you've seen Duke Energies upgrade the line from whatever size wire it is. I mean, I'm not a wire guy, right? But you can see the difference in that area that they take a wire the size of your thumb, and they go to a size of wire that's the size of two thumbs, right? And it's very visible on the power infrastructure. And, you know, those are the things we need to think about.
So when you look at this, and
Yeah.
you look at the mishmash of everything that's going on, this is what,
Absolutely.
when I talked to the planning commission, I said, listen, guys, this is a crisis that's going to happen. You got Woodruff Road, just to put Band-Aids on it, and people were laughing, but they're spending $121 million for one road. And they had the same political issues when it came to things like zoning and planning. You know that. And what I told these guys is, guys, what's going to happen when you start doing emergency fixes on infrastructure and you've got cement poured, you're talking literally millions that is going to get passed to the taxpayer and you're going to have people that are going to lose their homes. And they just basically like ignored it.
And Chris, I mean, I can't disagree with what you're saying. Okay, whatever our differences may be on other topics, right?
You just need to tell me how smart it was what I just said. We have an award that we're going to give anyways.
You're pretty smart.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll do my best Elvis impersonation. You're welcome. And
know what I mean? I think you do.
You didn't notice that the TCB on the side of my truck? You know what that stands for, don't
taking
you?
care of business.
There you go.
Am I right or wrong?
That's on the tail of my airplane, too. Just like Elvis.
But you know, I mean, you know, yeah, it is what it is, man. TCB, baby. But there are a lot of infrastructure issues we do need to take into account. You figure 1,900 homes on 750-ish acres, right? When you start doing math, it just does not add up.
But those are the new ones. We've had these other
Yes, sir.
subdivisions, these 21 that were in the paper last year. So what's happened, the only point, and then I know we got to move on, but you know what's happening is this is very serious. It's not like we know, and how can you end up with a group like the OCC that literally can go in and scream at people on the council meeting and paralyze us from doing the right thing for the community? You're going to see what north of Charlotte on Lake Norman, where strip mall after strip mall and it's just, and we can't handle it. We don't have the population to be able to afford it.
Well, Chris, I don't necessarily disagree with your, you know, what you have to say here at all. But we do need some sort of comprehensive plan, which I think the county paid for.
$80,000.
And they even had zoning.
Stereo.
And that comprehensive
Dang.
plan was based on surveys.
Hold on.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Dang, man.
Hey, no, hold on. This is
No, I mean,
$80,000, and it even talked about zoning,
But
and
no.
it was based on citizen input.
Well, the dog does not like that.
can I hold that a minute? Because I'm going to tell you.
This is my siren.
Well, then I'll
You
be
could
like,
have the cowbell.
I tell you,
The dog is not
I'll
gonna
be like
like that.
a Mississippi State person.
Can you?
No, but you're right. Whether people want to agree or not,
That's a problem. You have to address it.
We have seen so much growth in the past 3 years.
And you agree. Are you going to turn somebody away when they come in there and say, I want to buy a $500,000 home? And you're going to say, well, where are you from? And I'm from New Jersey. What are you going to say? You're going to say, thank you very much. I got
Welcome
just the
to
place for you.
Oconee.
Welcome.
Well, where are you from? I'm from Indiana. And I got lots of money.
You know,
Yeah.
the National Association of Realtors, which I'm a member of, I'm a realtor. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. I mean, to be a member of the most
What's the name of your realty company?
Keller Williams Oconee here on
In Westminster?
In Westminster.
Oh, I didn't know that. It looks like a very nice place.
214 East Main Street, and as
You guys must be doing very well for yourselves when I look around at the walls on the ceiling. Pretty fancy.
we're doing what we can.
Okay.
We are the only full service, full time brokerage in 29693.
Yeah, Westminster.
Yeah, and the Westminster zip code.
Do you give senior discounts? Hey, man, I have to ask for my own peeps out there.
Listen, I mean, listen.
All right. This is getting off track here. We got an award we want to give.
We may give off, we may get off track, but for a guy like you,
Good man.
I got you covered.
I like that.
No, seriously though. I mean, we're here to serve the community. We're here to help grow the community, and it's I mean,
You're facing reality that the growth is here and is coming from
here.
around the world, and it's like, guys, it's here. You got to do something about planning, or you.
Chris, I mean, you're right. I mean, growth is here.
It is,
What-
and it's getting bigger.
Whether people like it or not, it's here, and we do need to plan about what we need to do moving forward. And you're talking about 1,894 homes in development. What comes with that? Infrastructure. Where are we going to go from here? And it's complex. I mean,
But
I
you
know
should
it
be
is.
asking the question how we know all this. It's due to good investigative journalism.
Well, it's called doing your due diligence.
Exactly. But it's investigative journalism, and we have somebody amongst us that got an award for that from the Association for International Broadcasting. They asked me to present this. So may I present this?
Yes, sir. Be my guest.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm your guest, but yeah,
Well,
of
I
course.
want to make
but,
sure that we have an award here. I don't know if anybody, can you pass that back to Randy? Or hey, Randy, can you show the camera? But don't just show it because I want to read it. I was asked to present this.
What the heck is this?
I was asked to present this. Just show it to the camera. Don't say anything. There you go. Let everybody read it.
Get it a little bit closer.
A little bit closer. Can they read
Yeah,
it?
go a little bit closer.
A little bit closer.
Okay, so the Association of International recognizes Jazzy Jeff for setting the gold standard for excellence in investigative journalism the world over. Therefore, we award him this prestigious F. Chris Rowan Award.
Wait a minute. From the chairman.
Top fan Steve Black, David McMahon, and F. Chris Rowan.
Now, who's the chair? The chairman signed that. Did you see all that?
Yeah, you.
Wait, no. Who was it? Wait a minute. Let me read it. I don't even need my glasses. Wait a minute. It says, Jazzy, Chairman, Jazzy Yerba with 1 Z, date September 14, 2020. And there's even the guy. This is that Steve Black guy.
I don't
It's
even know
like-
where to laugh, cry, or go
It
take a
is.
crowd.
And this prestigious F.
This is a
Chris
prestigious
Ruin
award.
Award. Hey,
And they're our top fans.
It's an award.
well, why are you clapping? You're getting the award. You don't clap. You're supposed to say something. So please say something for the world over, Jeff.
Speech.
Yeah, speech. Everybody, this is a big deal.
Speech.
Please say something, Jeff.
Well, I was born a poor mill worker. I don't know what to say.
Are you just shocked?
Thank you. It was good.
It's a great award.
It was
that-
really hard. There were a lot of competitors.
yeah,
Remember, it's the world.
yeah. Top fan. How about that? September the 14th, 2023, the F. Chris Ruin Award.
That's very prestigious.
I want to say thank you, and I will hang this up in my studio or the basement. Where we broadcast from. Well, we
it's a
haven't been
crawl
there.
space.
The crawl space. I forgot. We haven't been in the crawl space lately.
No, hang that up in the closet where we really do the best.
Okay. I will.
So does anybody,
I
any
think
of my
y'all-
team have anything to say about that
I
award?
appreciate that award. I'll set that right here.
I think it's very prestigious.
Well, you should
and I'm
face the other way.
jealous.
That way they can see it.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, Jeff,
Now,
what's up next?
All right. First of all,
Hey, man, you can't keep them forever.
I've got a bunch of hold on. We've got a bunch of comments.
Sorry.
But before we go to the comments, I really wanted to start the show off with this real quick, and we didn't. But a couple of days ago, we all know that there was an issue that happened in Oconee County. I actually want to take an opportunity to talk a little bit about some school students and what they actually did. They are
news.
superheroes.
Yes, this is good
And
news.
these were students that were on a very scary situation that happened Tuesday afternoon on a school bus near Shiloh Road and Davis Creek. Now, the driver of the bus said she was feeling pretty bad earlier, and she was driving down Shiloh Road. She was able to call across the radio that she needed 911, that she wasn't feeling well. Now, there was a bus driver behind her that said that she had went off the shoulder road. The kids on the bus were able to get the bus stopped. They actually picked up the radio for the school on the bus and called that she had passed out. The school bus driver behind her got to her, and she had a pulse, but she didn't come around. She was transported to Oconee EMS Emergent, and this is a case right here that these kids were superheroes. The good news that I have found out that the school district intends Monday night to honor the kids. And I did have the names. I've got the names of the kids here, and I did get permission to, let me find it real quick. I got permission for the kids to name them, and for some reason I can't find that information. But anyway, the point of it is I am really proud of these kids. They did something that could have potentially been a very, very bad situation. And I just want to take this opportunity real quick to salute these kids and say, look, we're awesome. We're proud of you. And again, I am just absolutely relieved that you were able to do something that could have been a very tragic situation. Now, my understanding is the bus driver is doing okay. They're still doing tests. I haven't got an update, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I am just thankful that this situation could have been a lot worse. And if it had not have been for those kids stepping up, this could have been a whole different story. So
They deserve the highest honor of the LTO.
I just want to say that there is good still left in the world, and these kids showed it Tuesday afternoon.
They
Whoop, whoop.
those kids deserve more than a pizza party.
Absolutely.
And-
Absolutely. They deserve a new house, and where they need to come is Keller, Williams Realty, and Westminster.
But and sincerely,
I want to talk.
the driver is in my prayers.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I hope
that
they
I
get
hope I
better
have somebody
very
like
soon.
that around me when I get sick.
Well, these are a good group in Seneca. I know a lot of them that are still driving, and these are a good bunch of group, and these kids are just absolutely to be commended. Now, the other news, of course, that most folks know by now is the apartment fire. I do want to mention that we've got some folks that have reached out to us. Kathy, I think we've had some folks reach out to us about if folks want to help, what they can do to help, and we do want to talk about that real quickly, if you would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had someone from the apartment complex, obviously not that one, reach out and say that if you have donations, you can take those donations to the main office there. So evidently, those folks have lost everything, if not from the actual fire, from them putting out the fire. So they have lost absolutely everything. The lady that reached out to me said that there was just one child in that building, and that child is a girl who's in size 12 to 18 months. And she did not know, she said the other sizes that she had was men size large to 2XL, but she did not know any of the other sizes of the folks living there. It's 8 families, and they need absolutely everything. They've lost everything.
You know,
so they had some pets also
Well,
in the building.
the highlight of that too was watching that video of that chocolate or black lab
That hid under the bed?
That hid under the bed. That the firefighters from the
Were
able to get out.
Yeah.
And they walked it down on a leash, and the first thing it did is went right to the owner, and that was a joyous occasion. You could see the tears.
Yeah.
No deaths.
Yeah.
And
No
and
deaths.
the animals. You know, you just think about those firefighters. I mean, it's like the cops, man. You know, everybody's running the other way, and the cop is the one that has to run towards the action, just like the firefighters.
I'm telling you, seeing the response from not only the city of Seneca, but the county in general. I mean, they called in a second, they called in a third alarm. We had Clemson University responded.
There was 9 different stations.
Yes.
It's
And
my understanding there was a firefighter that was hurt, but they
Went
were
to the
able,
hospital,
they were
smoke
able to
inhalation.
go home that night.
Yeah,
so
he got treated for
that's
smoke
great,
inhalation.
too.
Did he get released?
yeah, he went home.
Yeah.
Just a great response from Seneca and Oconee County.
And you know, we had a real bad fire up on the mountain, and the lady lost her life.
Yeah. God.
Because she didn't know how to egress her home properly. Things were in the way. This, that, and the other. It happens. You get overwhelmed with your nerves to get going and whatever, and you get lost in your own home. I think this is a very appropriate time to ask everyone to make sure that their smoke detectors are working, and to know how to get out of your home in case of an emergency. I mean, that's as, you know, it is what it is. You got to practice.
All right, I want to take a break, and when we come back,
We're going to talk about taxes.
We want to talk about some taxes because we're continuing this investigation of taxes in Oconee County, and we're going through the list of when we see these people complain that their taxes are going up and they want to hold the line. We want to have this conversation because we really do want to see legitimately, because we've found some interesting things that we are questioning right now that makes no sense, and we want to talk. It makes no sense at all. And again, speaking of taxes, we're all waiting for the October 3rd County Council meeting. That one is going to be a big one because Christy Hubbard makes her presentation concerning the millage. I'm telling you, just brace yourself. It's about to get wild in Oconee.
So Charles came on, and I appreciate him taking that opportunity. One of the things I want to say before we go on to the break about that 1,800 home housing development, the realtor fees, if every one of those 1,800 homes sold for $200,000, that's $380 million. The realtor fees alone is $22,800,000.
How much?
$22,800,000. That's 6% of the sale.
6 or 7%. I thought it was 7.
Well, they charge you 7 because you're so damn hard to deal with. Okay.
That sounds like
here's-
progressive elitist money.
But here's the thing. What is the tax revenue going to be coming back to the county,
Yep.
and where is that going to put our general obligation budget next year, the year after, 3 years from now? We're looking at $125 million.
at least, and
All
that's
right.
that's without emergency fixes.
All right, stay tuned. We've got another hour of Let's Talk Oconee. We are live in beautiful Westminster, South Carolina. At least the internet works up here instead of the global elitist compound.
Hey, and you can get pizza delivered. That's never happened for me since I lived in Oconee County.
Not only that, we have our own Googler.
Yeah, they won't even come up to the global elitist compound. They just turn around at the end of Barnes Road and look the other way.
Yep.
I ain't driving my daggum piece of crap down in there. Woo!
They can't come to your house
getting
because
fiber.
Willow would eat them.
Yeah, the dog. Yeah, my 3 dogs would eat up. So
The only fiber we're getting in Mountain Rest seems to be Metamucil these days.
Keller Williams is where we're at. Charles Morgan Agency here. The agent is on duty tonight. So if you want to buy a house, come on down. We'll sell you one right now.
Have a piece of pizza with us.
We got comments coming in. We'll have that and more straight ahead as Let's Talk Oconee. Hour 2 continues here on this Thursday evening. Proud to be a sponsor of Sunny 107.9 WFBS and Lake Kiwi Radio Online. It's Twice a Town Tap Room. Cold beer, a family atmosphere located in downtown Salem. They're glad to be investing in the town of Salem, and they strive to be a premier hangout in the community and county. Whether you live in town, out of town, on the lakes, including Kiwi, Jocassee, or Hartwell, on one of our beautiful rivers, or just passing through, you're always welcome at Twice a Town Tap Room. Don't forget, live music, great entertainment, and fun can be had at Twice a Town Tap Room, located in downtown Salem. Again, for more information, visit twiceatowntaproom.com. That's twiceatowntaproom.com. There you'll find all of the information you need to know about Twice a Town Tap Room, and make sure you stop in and say hello. Twice a Town Tap Room is a proud sponsor of Sunny 107.9 WFBS and Lake Kiwi Radio Online.com. Their website, once again, twiceatowntaproom.com. Fall will be here before you know it, so go ahead and get your fall excursion on Lake Kiwi booked now. That's High Falls Boat Rentals, LLC, reliable boats on Lake Kiwi. It's conveniently located on the west side of beautiful Lake Kiwi, convenient to High Falls County Park, Oconee Nuclear, and the southern part of the lake. Pontoon boats, ski boats, deck boats, whatever you're looking for. If you want to fish, cruise the lake while relaxing and soaking up the sun, or maybe looking at leaves, you can do everything you can think of. All of the boats have Vimy tops for those who prefer maybe a little bit more shade. There's something for everyone of all ages. And they also have tubes, skis, and kneeboards available for rent. So with limited space availability, book now. You can book online right now by going to the website highfallsboatrentals.com. That's highfallsboatrentals.com, or call 864-309-8160. That's High Falls Boat Rentals, LLC, reliable boats on Lake Kiwi. Proud supporter of LakeKiwiRadioOnline.com. Welcome back to Let's Talk Oconee. SC.com is our website. It's officially 10 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It is a Thursday evening. By the way, there is no show Sunday. However, Chris Ruin has a show.
I have conversations with Chris.
Right.
And with a special guest.
You do? And tell us a little bit about that special guest.
His name is Ahmed. He's imam of a mosque in Clemson. He used to work for the United Nations, and then he was hired, and what he does is he goes around the country helping struggling mosques as they grow. He's a really, really nice guy, and it was very, very interesting. And if you watch the interview, you're going to see the one thing you realize, and Jeff and I both thought, no different than we are.
It really was. It was a very informative interview, and I look forward for folks to be able to hear it, because it actually tells a little different side of things that kind of we didn't know.
And we need that.
We didn't know. So it was a great conversation. Well, Chris, it's your turn now to explain some things. You have been working on the
taxes.
I need to get Ratty Matty needs to set up for the show.
There he is.
There you go. So folks, I moved here, built my dream home. I had never once wherever lived. I'd never complained about. Well, when I write the check, I complain. But you know what? But you look at these OCC guys, and they talk about everything that happened with taxes and how they're getting screwed, and they're just taking advantage of. So I thought, okay. And one of them specifically that has talked about that is my friend David McMahon. Now, David McMahon, I never really knew where he lived. I finally figured I never really lived too far.
You better be careful. You'll get a trespass
I'll get
notice
a trespass,
now.
but I know where he lives. But here he is.
For driving on roads.
Here's a man.
Or a GPS
Here's a
tracker.
man.
Well, I mean, we would have never known what his address was had he not sent me that trespass.
I know, but here's the thing.
So he did this. What's fixing to happen, he did to himself.
This is a deputy. A deputy. He wasn't the sheriff, his deputy. And man, boy, I tell you what. I mean, I worked a lot of long years and all that, but boy, this guy's doing
Founded
good.
GE.
So I want to talk a little bit. I
First
just brought
CEO,
two pieces of paper.
1892.
One was 2017. Now, I live on the lake, and I pay about 5 times more than him. I've got 0.58 acres, okay? Dinky. And I think he's got, 10 acres or
It'll
something?
tell you right there.
Yeah, it
Well,
should
I
say.
look for that, and I don't see it.
Go hand it down here.
Okay, you tell me how much
Read the small print.
how many acres on the lake this dude has? Okay, well, while we're doing
Yeah,
that,
you keep talking. I'm looking.
okay, so Randy, look at his 2017 tax notice, and tell me the bottom number. 700 and what?
$777.31.
Okay, so that's $778 a year for taxes for several acres on Lake Kiwi. Now, that was in 2017. Fast forward to 2022. I paid about, I'm sure these guys are already looking it up. I think I paid about $3,600, okay? This guy paid, you think about what the $778, this guy paid $834. And I don't know, I don't know how, what?
I'm just thinking here for a second.
How can that work? How the hell, why is he getting that? Is it because he's got his own rule like the Duttons on Yellowstone?
Okay.
Called McMahon? Why is that?
All right, number one, I think I know why. It starts with an A.
Apple orchard?
Well, it kind of would work something similar to that, but
Got any grapes?
interesting.
Is it an agriculture?
So, okay, here's the deal. You have, what's your property as far as acreage? You got, what, a lot?
No, I got 0.5. I've got
Okay.
0.58.
Okay, 0.58. And you're saying this is what, how many acres we're talking now?
Well, Randy couldn't find it. He said it was there.
Yeah, I'm
He's
looking.
looking it up. I think he's got about 10. I'm guessing. So don't sue me. I'm guessing you got about 10. And it is on Lake Kiowee. And he's got his own road. Now it's a public road. I don't think he can bargain.
Now listen here, listen. There's, if you look at the GIS, the 132 McMahon address is parceled out, and so it's the home and an acre. But surrounding it is 13.69 acres, and it's valued at $25,790.
That's all? That seems kind of weird.
So, and it is exempt for agricultural use.
There it is.
What does he do? Really?
I guess cut hay.
Tractor therapy. No, you don't even cut hay. You use a bush hog. He destroys the grass.
Well, that's tractor therapy. But,
But if he's still on Kiowee, why? I just wonder why I pay about 6 times more than this guy does.
because it's a loophole. You can do these things.
Well, maybe then I ought to start raising some of that marijuana in my backyard. I could.
It'd
I
have
mean,
to-
it's
it'd have to
legal
be
in South
hemp.
Carolina.
It
isn't
has to be hemp, and you have to be friends with Danny Ford.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have
okay.
to only certain people can do that.
Only certain people.
You have to, yeah.
Have y'all ever seen the story about the guy in the Low Country?
No.
That sled came in and tried to bust him and burn his crops and stuff, and he had a legal permit. You need to do the research on that one and watch that. That will blow your mind.
Well, let me
He had a legitimate permit.
Okay, so
And he
I'm
was
going to
making too much
I'm going to
hemp.
say this on the show. I'm not saying it's him. I'm just saying one thing. If it's so easy for everybody to get an agricultural deduction with that kind of money, and there are other people that do it, what do we do to validate that that is a legitimate deduction? What happens in the state of South Carolina or the county? Randy, if you had an agricultural deduction like that, wouldn't you expect somebody to come out to your house and say, let me see, are you making any money on this?
Well,
But see,
first off,
actually,
Chris,
he probably does because he has bees and has animals and stuff.
so
Well, he says that,
But he actually probably files taxes from his bee
but
business.
would you expect me to check that out?
well, the state of South Carolina is actually starting to crack down on these fraudulent farms because they just
Now, we're not
switched-
saying he's got a, we're not.
No, I'm not saying he's got a fraudulent
No,
farm.
we're just talking
But they created
generalities.
they created the skate card, the South Carolina Agriculture whatever, and you feel it every time you go to buy feed or seed or something for your farm, you show this card, and they take your number, and then you don't pay any sales tax. Well, if you don't file your farm forms with your taxes at the end of the year, and the state finds out, the state's going to come back and ask you to pay all that sales tax.
But that's
So-
not going to do anything for
Property. This
that's
is property.
zoned
But-
agriculture
but
because there's a lot, and I've told you about the lot over in town that is nothing but a field. There's nothing on it. It used to be
Well,
a
I
pecan
think-
grove.
I think though that this technology, Larry Deenack, he'll tell you the technology is what's going to get us all. Is going to keep records of that, and as soon as they find out that hey, look, there's not been any agriculture movement on those properties, then questions are going to get asked, and they're going to have to approve it up or pay it up. And I think that because there is so much of that, the state of South Carolina is losing so much money. But at the same time, they want to protect the farmers. That's why they just gave an ag exemption to every agriculture
For buildings.
building
Yeah.
in the state.
And
Okay,
that's a good. That
So,
was good.
but
And
here-
that's
but here-
great.
But the county took a $500,000 hit in tax revenue because they said we can't tax barns anymore.
Well, that's okay. We're gonna do a bond. We'll just take
But
it out of the
aren't
bond.
they? But aren't they taking a hit every time that some place that used to be a pecan grove 50 years ago and
Absolutely.
hadn't had a pecan in
Absolutely.
50 years is getting this write-off because it's in town and would be taxed at a higher rate, but they haven't paid in 50
You know what?
years.
absolutely.
This hurts.
mean-
this hurts legitimate farmers.
It
You know,
does
they-
hurt legitimate farmers.
They deserve it. Okay, so here's the thing. These things should be audited because what people were like, well, you're singling out people that have it. Okay, let me just tell you what happens. When somebody does that and it's not legitimate and their taxes go way down, you just ask yourself, who pays the difference? It's not me. I mean, I pay a crap load nowadays. Now, I didn't say a bad word because I'm in this place of business, but I pay a crap load. So, but that's not enough. You're making up the difference. And you got a group of people, because there are more people out there playing that game, around this county, and we are getting screwed. And there should be an audit of
Well,
that.
well, here's the thing, Chris. It's going to get even better because the state of South Carolina just passed some legislation that encourages disabled veterans to move to the state.
Oh, you mean the disabled vets that are moochers?
Right? Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember them saying that.
Yeah, yeah.
But in South Carolina, if you're a 100% disabled vet, you don't pay property tax on your house and 2 cars. Also, if you're a retiree, you don't pay income tax on your retirement. So just think about the
Yeah,
amount.
but we do now.
No, disabled veterans won't.
Oh, you don't.
And
I do.
retirees won't.
I pay the tax.
Yeah, but
I don't begrudge
but,
that
But
at
according
all.
to Perry Smith, all those deadbeats are going to move here because that's a great tax. That's great.
Ooh, I want to go back to January 1st, 2014.
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness, Jeffy has just struck
Even
gold.
the Googler Charles is going, uh-oh.
I have just struck gold.
Row.
Do y'all
Who said row? Scooby-Doo.
Do y'all remember the lawsuit that David took out?
Oh, yes. Oh, my Lord.
The
Yes.
zoning of some property in Oconee violates the state's right to farm act, a judge has ruled. December the 27th, Judge Lawton McIntosh granted a summary judgment for plaintiffs David and Michelle McMahon, Gene Jennings, and Lily Davis in a lawsuit filed in 2012. The Right to Farm Act was intended to preempt the regulatory field of agricultural, McIntosh wrote in his one-page ruling, adding that the zoning in questions violated the act as it means to regulate agricultural facilities and operations outside the scope of state law. The chief plaintiff, David McMahon, said he was pleased with the ruling but uncertain to the final effects. So we got to go back. So he sued. Oh my God! This
I
just
remember
gets
that
more, this just
because
gets
he's
more,
told me I hold a grudge against him for 13 years because he did that when I supported. I do support
Hey,
zoning.
I'm just still looking for my debate that I was supposed to have with Don Mize that he said he was going to set up.
He's
That
not
ain't
gonna- he's-
happened
well,
yet.
He's not. Gonna.
Well, hey, I just.
But it was supposed to be at Wayne McCall's place. I forget.
Let me
Where?
The debate.
Oh, Lord, be
but
careful,
yeah, it was
man. You
supposed to
might
be at
never
Wayne
return.
McCall's place. I forgot about
Can,
that.
can I interject here just a second?
Yeah, sure.
The man said he wanted to grow grapes. And
Which
where,
is his right.
where can we get a bottle of McMahon's Finest?
Yep.
I don't know.
2012 and 2014, he said he wanted to grow grapes. Them vines are ready to be dug up and replanted by now because they only got like an 8-year life.
Right.
Yep.
I'm just saying, when you look at this lake property and this, that just seems like it's great for him. And I think that's good. And I'm not advocating him, but I'm saying in this county, you've got good farmers that deserve what they get. You also have people, and I'm very careful about this. I'm not saying this guy, he's probably got great wine. Everybody
wanna know
that
where to buy
claims
it.
that everybody that claims that in the county should be audited to show and prove. Because I can guarantee you there were people.
I don't think it's an audit. What I think has to happen is the legislature has to change the law. that's where you got to start. It ain't nothing to do with an audit. The legislature's got to get under. They need to do a look at this Right to Farm Act. I need to go do a little research on the Right to Farm Act and just see, because apparently it seems like there's a lot of people that's using this Right to Farm Act as a exemption to not have to pay property taxes.
But is the right for farm simply mean
would
you're
be
not doing
great.
farming?
Am I right, Charles? Okay.
Hey, Mr. Google, real estate Googler. You know,
That's what they're
hey,
doing. I mean,
don't know.
It's plain as day.
no.
The legislature has to fix this loophole. This
They
is a
don't even
loophole.
have to farm, and they get this.
Buy a cow, and that's all you got to do.
Oh, all you got to do.
Listen,
No. All you've got to do
Well,
is say that
I mean,
you're going to
if
farm.
you have a pet rooster,
Oh, yeah,
that
we'll
is
say
not a
you're farming.
farm.
But Kathy,
Define farm, because
That's-
if I own 100 acres of land and it's got 100 acres of trees, it's been there for 500 years. And I don't do anything except buy the land, right? I can keep it ag because it's 5 acres of forestry or 10 acres of pasture land. So, I mean, that's state law.
And you're not even farming?
Your tree farm.
Define farming.
define farming. That's what he's saying. You got to. But I'm
So,
saying
I
it's
mean,
a loophole.
Do I have to present a harvesting plan, a replanting plan, or anything else? No, I
No.
don't.
That sounds to me like it's a progressive elitist
Well,
conspiracy. Why
well,
is
hold on.
Ratty Matty not doing anything?
Well, here's the thing. And the state law also says about farming, you don't have to make a profit. You have to sell a product. So as long as I sell 1 jar of honey a year, I'm considered in business.
But here's the thing, with forestry, I don't have to sell. the
Rainey, turn it
product
towards him.
Like every year.
There you go.
I don't have to sell 1 stick of lumber every year. I just have to say that it's forestry. So, I mean, I buy a virgin forest that's, 500 acres, 100 acres, whatever, 10 acres, whatever the acreage amount is, right? So 10 acres and above, I can claim it as a agricultural business. But what's my harvesting plan? What's my replanting plan?
Yeah, like legitimate farmers.
But that's not what the statute requires.
It
comes-
should.
Well, I'm not gonna disagree
Right.
with you,
But
Kathy.
a question.
And
So when you-
here's the rub. In other places, it does. So if you look and like for tree farming, like Christmas tree farming and that type of thing, you'll find and even like just clear cutting, like selling lumber and stuff, it would
Well, he likes
it would you would think that to make it legitimate, you would have to show, and for tax purposes as well.
So
that-
I lived in Ashe County, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Which is the,
Great cheese.
not only cheese, but the Christmas tree capital of the world. Ashe County, North Carolina. I was there for like 6 years. And they provide like 80% of the Fraser firs sold on the East Coast. Okay? And those folks had tree farms. I mean, they had them in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years. I mean, whatever increments they were. And they had to have a harvesting plan. North Carolina State University required that they had a harvesting, replanting plan in place for them to have the exemption. We do not have that here. I mean, the law is the law. If it says the speed limit is 55,
Right.
you're doing 54, you're compliant. 55, you're compliant. 58,
You see, here's the
speeding
problem. Here's the problem I have. So you got this group that they've bashed people that live on the lake simply because it was easy political.
But
Even though
let,
they're living on the lake.
but let me say this:
and-
their president of this this organization now
Lives on the lake.
It lives on the
Lives
lake.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't David Nix have a lake house too?
Yes, he lives on the lake.
Doesn't-
and I
doesn't
don't know
McMahon
why.
live
And
on the
I'm
lake?
not. I'm just saying I want to get in on this. He's paying $800, and I'm paying close to 3,700.
I
Kathy,
pay,
how much you paying?
I pay more in property taxes than he does living in town on
Oh, you
less,
don't live on a lake. How about a canal?
less than half an acre. Yeah.
You don't live
All
on
right,
a
I got
canal?
0.58 tenths of an acre. I'm paying Seneca City tax, and I think mine was $1,250.
Right. So you know what this means? We're subsidizing, not saying this guy, we are subsidizing.
Wait a minute. So what you're saying, Chris, is what they don't believe, and that is the people that live around the lake are doing more for the county than the farmers are.
Correct.
Yeah, and
When
what,
it comes
what
to
I'm
paying
saying
taxes.
is Chris is still paying 3 times in taxes what I am, what he is at 14 acres on his, half an acre, and paying for our kids to go to school and paying for our roads and stuff. Thank you, Chris.
And
Thank
wait a
you.
minute, wait a minute. The audience, wait.
But
They
yet
need to
they
know
think
I'm not
that-
complaining. Have I ever complained about my taxes?
No, and thank you, Chris. And
With a chain
they
like
think
that,
that
I'd
he
complain.
shouldn't. They think that he shouldn't have any say in what's going on around here, and the
Because
lake
I'm not
people
from
shouldn't
here.
have any say in what's going on.
We are also in the state of South Carolina, what is called a POS, not piece of whatever you're thinking.
You
okay?
mean South Carolina's a shit show?
Oh, come on, Jeff.
Point of sale?
No.
Hey, that's
We- we are
Lori's
a
thing.
Point of sale state.
What does that
Yeah.
mean?
So, your house, and I'm going to hypothesize here for a minute. So, I bought it at $100,000 40, 50 years ago. You bought it, and again, I don't know. I've not looked at your.
I paid $20,000 and I've got about 80 into the whole house, okay?
So,
And I'm paying $3,600.
well, I mean, because you did work for GE.
We founded GE in
Is that what it is?
1892.
First the-
That's
Hey,
what
wait a minute,
McMahon
before you
said.
go, explain that real quick.
Okay, go
Would you
ahead.
explain?
Wait a minute. So, point of sale state. What does that mean in real estate and in taxable law? Okay. So, point of sale state means that, Chris, you sell me your house for $1.5 million. I've never been to your house. I don't know anything about it. I'm just throwing numbers out, right?
It's a rat hole. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just
All
like
right,
Mad
so,
Men.
so I paid $1.5 million for a rat hole. That is now my assessed tax value. So my tax value is based on 1.5 million times the county's.
Algorithm with the
Algorithm.
millage
Thank
and
you.
everything is
Yeah.
broken down.
Okay, so that's where my tax value. That's what my taxes are based off. So if I owned, for example, where my mother and father lived, or my mother still lives there. They bought the house or property and built the house in 1972, which is 51 years. They moved in August 1951. I was born September 1951. That's been their whole house. Their tax basis originated from 1972, not 2023 or 2022. So there's a disparity.
So they're not paying hardly anything.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, but
But
don't you still get your house
comparatively
assessed?
to
It-
You have
know,
assessment every few years.
Yes.
It's not every year.
Every 5
5 years assessment.
there
Yeah.
is a reassessment according to
State
Yeah,
law.
and then I pay what I,
Miss Hubbard.
Yep.
And the maximum, according to state law, that the value can go up is 15%.
Right.
So what we've seen here recently in real estate is property values buy and sell in the real market, right? Not the county market, but the fair market value have gone up, anywhere from 70, 80, 90%, depending on the home and the town that it's in. So there's a disparity there. How do we bridge that gap? I don't know if there's an easy way to bridge the gap, okay? I mean, state law prevents us from going up more than 15% every assessment period. State law prevents how many millages you can go up.
Yeah.
state law prevents a lot of different, things that can happen for tax bases, it's not kept up with the current.
Okay,
It's
so-
not carried with
Well,
the market.
well,
Exactly.
But let me just say one thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is what I truly believe.
I'm sure it is, because you're gonna lay it on me. Let's go.
I believe we pay our fair share. If you have a house valued at X, you pay that fair share. If you have a legitimate farm, you get that deduction because of the law and what you're producing. But when and I'm not saying this guy, because God knows he'll do something.
Chris?
Anybody that pulls that crap, that it says it's one of that farming things when it's not, is forcing more costs on all of us, and that is wrong.
Now, Chris, I'm not gonna disagree.
No, I mean, I'm not
No.
saying you, I'm just,
No,
Randy
no,
agrees.
No, I'm not gonna disagree with the hypothesis you just, laid out. What is a farm? To me, if you own a farm, and I may get some blowback from this as a realtor, okay? But what is a farm? To me, a farm is a business. And if you're gonna operate a farm, which is a business, if you have forestry, what is your harvesting plan? How?
Right, I agree, yes.
So I own 1,000 acres in Mountain Rest because I'm Randy's neighbor, right? And I got all of that big money laying in the bank, and I bought 1,000 acres, right? And I said it's a farm. It's agricultural use because it has trees on it.
Right.
By state law, I've only got to have 10 acres of trees, right? So I've got 100 acres or 1,000 acres of trees. Is that a farm? Because the good Lord above is providing rain and making the trees grow?
And some birds drop some,
Yeah,
no.
or whatever, right? I understand. I mean, I understand both sides of this coin, but yet, on the business side, what is a farm? A farm has a plan. A farm says, I plant in the spring, I harvest in the fall, I replant the next spring, right? I harvest the next fall, but what about forestry?
I just hope you have a victory garden.
Okay, so let's,
The victory garden? Well,
Victory
because I know,
I got one of those too.
hey, I know
Well, and
that
you
we.
would, you would have a documentable income or loss from whatever you had that year as
Right,
well.
A P&L sheet,
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
profit loss sheet.
Well, I
But we're
think
gonna
that the
move- I
state
know
is
we gotta
making
move on.
strides
I
to
know we gotta
fix
move
that.
on to another subject. So so we end this with this. Everybody should pay their fair share. And what's happening is when people don't legitimately have that, we're getting screwed.
Well,
write your
Well,
representatives,
at
y'all.
the
Write
end,
them.
at the end of this, to wrap this segment up, last week when we did this, we got some blowback about what we talked about with the.
Oh yeah, I got a text message.
They said, "Oh my God, you didn't show the right properties that I own. Like this guy's got like 25 properties. We're not trying to look at all of them."
I just look at this from a business standpoint. To me, a farm is a business, right?
Yep.
Owning second homes, because I've got 2 rental properties, okay?
Yeah.
One in Westminster, city limits, one in Walhalla, city limits. And I know that I'm gonna have to pay county tax, city tax is 6%, okay? 6 as we say in real estate, 6 if you're rich, 4 if you're poor, right? But I do know that at 6%, I know my escrow payments are gonna increase, right? I mean, it's just, it's
Yeah,
it's
but
what
we
it
don't,
is.
right, but we don't want to,
It's a
I
business.
agree with
At
you.
that point, it's a business,
Right, but we don't want to confuse the situation for people, because I get confused.
I
If the-
got something.
Go ahead.
I've got something that I want to play, and I'm sorry you're not going to be able to hear it, but we'll give you, Charles, the details. But I want to go back. I've just found this.
I'm listening. I'm in the unit here.
I just walked in and checked with the county to make sure that all my taxes have been paid. Donnell, it got me a little worried that I don't pay taxes. And I want to make sure that my money, which I do pay taxes.
God, that is gold.
I'm gonna make sure that they did, my taxes make it here, and they have said that, yes, all my taxes have been paid, and so I'm happy now, I feel better. I hate to
Good for you.
Mr. Elliott,
They law.
folks, I'm just being
Oh, this is gold.
Hey, no, he said it. He's just stupid right now.
late Kiwi folk keep the rest of us up, and they're the ones that pay the taxes.
They do, for God's sakes.
I tell you what's
They
pathetic.
do.
is
They
that-
do, for God's sakes.
You know what? Who was that?
David McMahon, out of his
David
own words.
McMahon pays $778 a year.
On 14 acres.
I pay close to $4,000 a year. I'm not saying I keep anybody up. All I say is that sure sounds pretty weird to me, and I think that So what do we want to? We don't want to burn up everything. What else are we going to?
I'm glad that we had this conversation tonight.
If I may. So you take people that inherit proper, looks, Jeff, you and I are I don't know about Kathy.
Kathy's been here the longest of these two.
Nearly 39 years.
Yep, she's been here 39.
You and I are native.
Yeah, we're native, born and raised here.
And right, wrong, indifferent. It doesn't matter. But we both know people that have inherited
Property, family property, right.
Okay, and if it legally fits the state statute of five acres of pasture land or 10 acres of forestry land, that is considered agricultural exemption.
That's right.
That's the law.
That's the law. You're right.
That is the law. And as a person that believes in law and order, that's law. I'm not going to disagree with it. I would also take advantage of those tax break opportunities. In reality, again, if we look at the statute versus what we see here, implementation, you inherit 500 acres of land, it's been grown up in trees, you can take advantage of the agricultural tax exemption. Perfectly 100%.
It's legal.
Legal.
Right.
Okay? I would do it. I don't know probably anybody at this table that would not do it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris. I mean,
Do what?
if you had 500 acres that you inherited, that was
I'd
grown-
turn it into a business.
He would take advantage of every tax break he can find.
Yeah, I mean, that's what.
And who
that's what we
wouldn't?
do,
But who
right?
wouldn't?
Yeah, but if I don't have a farm, how can I, if I'm not making a business and I don't have a farm, and I'm not saying anything about this guy because he'll try to pull that shit. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is if I don't have a farm, I legitimately do not deserve to get a tax break, and people need to audit that because you're paying more, Randy, Kathy, me, everybody's paying more. And saying that crap like he just did on tape about, oh, Elliot, oh, I'm so
What was
scared.
the total?
I don't
What was the total that
disagree.
he paid?
Oh, yeah.
I don't disagree.
It's right there.
With your statement.
$831.
I don't disagree with it.
But the problem is until
you
the
like to have
law
that tax
is
bill,
look,
Kathy?
till the law is fixed. This is legal. This is a legal loophole.
Then follow the law.
But
But really-
he is.
But that's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing, Chris. He's actually following the
So
law.
I'm
That
not
is-
saying him. I'm saying if some guy has property on the lake and they don't have a farm, they can claim it. So I could claim I have agriculture.
Yes and no, it depends on your property size.
You have to have a minimum
5
of
acres.
5 acres.
So, and that's somewhat discriminatory too, in the fact that you're going to have, I mean, the average family is going to have a pocket full of cash to be able to go out and buy a certain amount of acreage to even
How many
fall
acres
into
do
the.
you have?
Oh, we have less than
Well,
half an acre. We have a lot.
Yeah, but here's the thing with
So-
the mass developments that are happening and the new cities that are popping up.
There won't be no property.
There's going to be no opportunity for agriculture exemptions anymore in Oconee
That's
County.
where we're heading
Real
in
or
this.
legitimate.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we're stepping on a very thin line here that we are pushing the farmers out for the development to come in.
But unfortunately,
Urban sprawl
we
is what it
can't
is.
blame local government on state statute, okay?
That's it.
So this is where if people have a problem.
Rainey, get the
with it-
microphone back over there, please.
So we can't blame local government, you know, our county council, city council, what have you, on state statute. We have to press our representatives like Whitmire, Sandiford, and Thomas Alexander.
Well, you see, I didn't know what you just told me. Basically, what you're saying, that if somebody has 5 acres, they literally can call it agriculture and
If-
get that big discount.
If it's pasture land,
Okay.
it's gotta be 10 acres of, or 5 acres.
5 acres of pasture land.
10 acres of trees. Now, it doesn't talk about.
Which I had at one time before I developed it and
Yeah,
sold it.
I mean, but that is state statute that has nothing to do with our county government. So we go from county to state, and if we need to have changes in that, that's gonna have to be addressed on the state level, not the county level.
So if you had somebody on tape saying they were scared and they went up $20, what would you say? They don't know how to manage money or what?
$20.
Yeah.
About 20, $30.
I mean, here's the deal. If you go back and you take a look, this is the whole conversation. Let me put it back into perspective. We've got the certain group that we all know claiming that taxes are too damn high. Okay? That they're paying 10%. Their taxes have gone up 10%. But if you take a look at the numbers from 2017 and you go to 2022, there is no way in hell.
But here's the thing with that. Let me go first. What we're not seeing is the cards that they're holding that they don't want to show. Now we know that just about every one of them knows he's in the real estate game. They've all got rental properties.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure that they don't have their names on all of their rental properties because they put them in trust, they put them
Or
in business
LLCs.
names or LLCs. And they probably are.
And they're an LLC themselves. Is that ironic or
Like-
not?
Well, like Mr. Nick said in the text, you didn't look at all their properties. It went up $645 last year.
But if you put all the properties together, you get the $600
right.
on all the properties.
So if they all went up $10,
BOOHOO.
that's 64 properties. You know, if you don't want to pay the tax on 64 properties,
Sell them.
sell your 64 properties right here at Keller Williams, Oconee.
And it would
we
seem-
got the man that'll sell them for you.
And it would seem to me, too, that since you're
Right.
having this conversation, that the more the property's worth, the more value that you can get out of
But
it.
here's the thing, and when you start talking about the business side of things, who pays the increase in property taxes? Is it the homeowner or is it the renter?
The homeowner.
No, the renter pays.
Were you talking about going up in the
Because
payment?
when my property tax goes up from, $100 a month to $110
Ah,
a
so
month,
you're going to pass
I
that
raise
along.
rent.
You raise rent to pass it along. So basically, that's not coming out of his pocket.
Or at least it doesn't come out of my
Oh,
pocket.
boy.
Because I have rental
You're going to pass
property.
that along, and who can afford to pay it? And it's not the renter.
Yeah, but if your tax goes up $10 and you go up $30 on the rent, well, you just made $20.
That's right.
Well, there's a reason I wanted to have this conversation because we all.
The rich get richer.
On the backs of the small.
Of
On
the
the
backs-
backs of common
working
men like
folk.
me.
No, I would love to own your house and rent it to you, Chris. Your rent would probably be a lot more than the mortgage payment.
Of course it would be.
But he probably moved here from.
My house was on MTV Cribs. This is a rapper house.
Well, the thing about it is standard rent should, if being in the rental game, your rent should be your mortgage plus what, 20%? at least.
Somewhere in that neighborhood, depending on if you follow Dave Ramsey or some of these other folks.
Larry makes a comment. I don't know where he's getting this. I would love to see it, but I can tell you right now, no, Larry, renting, if you live in a student housing at Clemson, around the Clemson area, it's going to be more than $450 to $850 right now.
I just did a job with a student housing complex in Clemson, and I was just asking some questions. And I was like, hey, how much are these things going? And it's $1,000 a bedroom, and there's 4 bedrooms in each one of them, and there's now listen, there's 300 of them units. These people these real estate investment trusts making hand over fist, just drawing the money up.
Well, you can't blame us, capitalism.
Right, but
They're taking the
$1,000 a
risk.
bedroom, $4,000 a unit.
Wow.
Okay. All right. We've had the conversation about taxes. We are getting up towards the end of the show. It's going to be open mic here. What does anybody else want to talk about for the show this evening?
OCDP picnic is
Go ahead.
Sunday, I'm sorry, at
That's
4
right.
o'clock.
4 o'clock, and
South
Starts
Grove.
at 4.
tickets are what, $30?
$30, yes.
Yep, that's coming
It's
up.
the sister of the OCRP, the OCDP.
Democrats.
The Oconee
The
Democratic
Democratic,
Party.
yes, the
Hell, we can't afford that.
yearly
$100.
picnic, yes.
That
They
$100.
can't afford $75.
Float you alone?
September 30th.
Do I want you to float me over and give me a free ticket? I'll take the free ticket.
September 30th,
Mm-hmm.
Hike for Hope.
Yes, and also Saturday is, I just blanked out.
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
started on the 12th, and it'll be over on the 12th of October. It's not even a month. It's 2 months.
But in Walhalla, Saturday, the 16th.
Well,
is
in
the,
Walhalla, they're
is the
probably just
festival.
damn lucky
Yes.
they get anything.
I really hate, though,
What?
that we didn't get into the conversation that I had planned for us to get into, so we will postpone that conversation until,
Well, can you just give us
well,
particular?
we were going to go into talking about Walhalla city government. We have an election that's going to be coming up here shortly, and I'm telling
man.
you, this...
That one gives me a headache.
Charles, you ran for city council over there, didn't
I
you?
ran 4 years ago for Walhalla City Council.
That's going to be a
I
great
finished
conversation.
last with 167
Especially if they win.
votes. And normally that would have won, but it was a very highly contested mayoral race. And from what I see this year, there's a family that's pretty much running.
Keenanville!
Yeah, well, we should start, instead of a kingdom, kingdom.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it is what it is. And, you know, you want to get back to a quorum with having a.
Oh, I'm glad you brought quorum up.
Well,
Yeah.
I got to talk about that in a second.
I'm not afraid to. But, you know, if we have 4 people on city council in Walhalla that are in the same household, anything they do would technically constitute a
Quorum.
Oh,
And-
no.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
no. That's what they say, that they
So-
they have
so-
their meetings and,
Since-
and they don't ever have a quorum.
Since
But
the
every
last...
conversation, everything fall under the, you know, the constraints of a quorum. And I don't know. I'll be honest. Personally, I think that's a weak argument.
Well, the county council, since the last council meeting, has been in quorum twice.
No?
They had a lunching for the Apple Festival, and they had a get-together at a business early this week, Monday or Tuesday, I believe, and they were in quorum twice since the council last met.
That's when they had their
But-
tent. It was right out. It's right out here.
Has anybody FOIA requested their phone records, their emails, or anything else about those conversations?
We can't say.
Can't say.
Because, I mean, that's legitimate, right? As somebody who has a political science degree, you know, if they get together outside or they talk on the phone, even, you know, whoever it is. whether
Look,
it's
we
city
know,
council,
Charles,
county
I know,
council,
look, I am not stupid, but I will tell you this right now. I know that those 3 have had conversations on the telephone
Oh,
about
don't
county business.
forget all the people that they have appointed to committees and
Yeah, you
this and
can't.
that.
You can't walk into
They
chambers in
cannot
lockstep
possibly.
and not have had a meeting before.
That's why everything's roadblocked in the planning
And
commission.
then when you have one person pontificating in the paper about, we have decided to do this, and we have decided to do that. Oh, have you now? But then you haven't had a quorum. You haven't talked about county business outside of any meeting. I mean, just sing me another song, dance me another dance.
Do we have any updates on the budget?
I may have
Well,
been born at night, but it wasn't last night,
Chris, I am
fellas.
so thankful that you brought that up.
Oh, yeah.
It's
getting higher and higher.
Well, so as an added bonus, I went back and pulled the budget from the original proposed budget. I went and pulled the original proposed budget.
From Amanda?
This was what was presented in the 1st of June. So in the original proposed budget, everything, the whole 9 yards, was $91,587,152.
The entire budget for the county.
Okay, that's everything.
change.
That's including operating, total general fund, and special revenue fund. Okay, so it was $91,587,152. If you take a look at the amended budget that is in place right now,
With the cost savings?
add 200 more thousand to it.
200,000?
Add 200 more thousand to it, so
But
it's
that doesn't-
91,800 and some few thousand.
Yeah, but that doesn't really add up if they saved us $7 million.
Look, they didn't save us any damn money.
Oh.
Honestly, there was no money.
I do math. I don't know about you, Chris, but I'm sure
$7 million savings.
We saved none.
sounds like you know.
And here's the argument.
deficit.
Here comes the argument. Well, that's government. That's a grant. What the hell is a grant? What's wrong?
It's people's money.
Yeah.
Oh no! So one of the comments that just came in, Jeff, is about taxes, and this listener says that her car tax is more than McMahon's farm tax.
Yeah.
And is more than the whiners' increase
I just
over all their properties. So, yeah.
I just paid
Yeah,
900.
there's that.
Wow.
Yeah, but she probably drives a Volvo or some other Democrat car.
Nope.
Or Toyota Prius.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
It's
So it should be a lot less.
It's a Bronco.
Okay.
A new Bronco.
Okay, so guys, let me just
She's
make one comment about the budget. Okay. We had people mugging for the camera at a restaurant. Remember that after this?
Giving them white
They-
power signs.
No, I'm talking about when they were all there after they were talking about the budget, like basically to the county, like, nah.
don't
Okay,
like it when
we
you say
saved you
that.
all this money. And it was around
She
8
said,
million.
yes,
or
a
what.
new one.
And what Jeff just told you are legitimate numbers. Amanda Brock presented it. Everybody freaked out. They came back and told us about their savings. That's not true. It's $250,000 more than even she said. No savings. It's more than Amanda had had.
But that's what pisses me off about this whole
It's lies.
situation with the OCRP. They came into the very next meeting after he wrote on the toilet paper and said, "This is what we're going to do," and didn't tell nobody. And then,
yeah, he did. He told the three.
but he said he didn't. He said they just know to follow me because I'm the Jesus or whatever. But anyway,
I think he said Jesus.
Right.
Jesus.
but
Lord,
then they
have
come
mercy.
into the executive committee meeting at the OCRP with this resolution to praise them for saving all this money.
Pat them on the back and give them a bit
And
of
then-
hug.
now-
They saved us money. Hallelujah!
Oh, yeah,
Saved
baby.
it.
So-
and then they're complaining about Elliot.
But hold on a second. So the rest of the party goes, wait a minute, you're putting the cart before the horse. We haven't saved anything yet. The budget's not even final. Let's just wait and see how it pans out. And Josh Owens said, hey, I'll slap him on the back and I'll praise him if we save $1 or something like that. He put a very low number on it. Well, now we wanted the town hall so they could tell us what we're doing. They don't want to go to the town hall.
Hell, would you want to go to the town hall?
Well, no, because they didn't save anything.
Right.
They cost us more
Where's
money.
my $7 million?
Right. But they're going to die. But this OCC
I moved
group,
it.
this OCC group is going to die on Quorum Hill, trying to save face not to go to this town hall Because they actually increased taxes in the county.
You know what
And said they're
leadership?
going to stop $7 million.
But
let me say
then they
this.
have somebody
Hold on.
write a
But hey,
letter
listen,
to
listen.
say,
Hold on. They didn't increase. Okay, they increased the budget. The millage is still the same until October.
Yes.
Well, hey, listen,
That's
Jeff,
your key.
Jeff,
Yes.
there is 3 things in this world that are hard to say. I'm sorry, I was wrong, and wash your sister's house.
And I guarantee you,
Wait a
this
minute,
person
what-
you're
what's the
referring to,
last-
this person that you're referring to can't say all 3
Wash
of
your
them.
sister's house.
Oh, yeah. Where's your sister?
Yeah, it's hard to say. And so is, I'm sorry.
It's
And
wash your
so
sister's
is,
house.
I
Watch your
was wrong.
sister talk. Hey,
So-
okay. Are we wrapping up?
Yeah,
Because
we
okay,
gotta
so
wrap up.
I got one thing to say is for my time on wrapping it up. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I listened to that conversation that you played. Oh, you know, Elliot, I'm scared. Okay. Let me tell you what being scared is. With all this growth around here and the crap planning that we have, and you look at Greenville spending $121 million, and you look at a community of 80,000 people that's a small community, if you don't think counties can go bankrupt when you have emergency infrastructure fixes, you're not reading. And think about this. There are people that are going to lose their homes. And I said that would happen. And I was called a Marxist when I said I was concerned about seniors and well-deserving people that lived in their homes for their entire lives would lose their homes because of these infrastructure issues. Thank the OCC for the screaming and the yelling and the intimidation that they and the bullying they did to put all this smoke in the air. Well, we're telling you the truth. That's all I have to say.
Who's next, Rainey? Charles?
So
I don't care.
I want to go right after what Chris said about the county going bankrupt. We take out this big loan. There's no more money to go get. Our credit rating will be full. We'll be maxed out. We have AA rating, but we'll have no more credit availability. A disaster happens, then what?
Does that mean the Chinese are going to buy Oconee County?
If you don't think that a
what?
disaster couldn't happen, just ask the city of Seneca and the folks in Seneca. A disaster did happen down that way. Charles, you're up next.
You guys speak in the mic.
I see growth coming. It's been coming for the past few years. COVID migration, COVID refugees, whatever you want to call folks. It's coming. We all see it. We all smell it. We all taste it. We all see it when we go to Seneca by Chick-fil-A. We're going to have people on the Planning Commission that understand what's coming our way. We're going to have people on County Council that sees the need to invest not in future development as far as down the I-85 corridor, but where the development is actually happening. When you add 1,894 homes to Highway 130 / Rochester Highway,
Plus all the other
okay,
homes.
and all the other homes, the water lines are going to have to be upgraded. I mean, there are water lines between Westminster and Walhalla, because I sat on the County Board of Zoning Appeals for several years, that these homes had to go dig a well because the 2-inch water line
Isn't enough.
was not adequate to add their homes
To city water.
single-family dwellings, 2 of them, okay, 2 homes that I know of. We've got to do something, and that money that has got to be laid out for capital expenditures via Seneca Light and Water comes from somewhere. And where does government get money? Us, the taxpayer. You want to be a good steward of our money and our resources, you need to plan. And some of these folks that are former or veterans and prior military understand what the 5 P's are. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. And unless our elected representatives understand what the 5 P's are, we're going to continue to sit here and squander and wallow where we are now.
You're at the point of no return.
Yep.
Well, so be it.
Exactly.
Kathy, you're next.
I don't agree. I don't think we're at the point of no return. But and with regard to this town hall meeting, we didn't get deep into this, but this guy pontificating about the town hall meeting and why or what the motivation is. I'll tell you what the motivation is. The motivation is that citizens, taxpayers, the ones that pay the bills, independents like myself, Democrats, people who vote one way or the other, it really doesn't matter. Like I said, taxpayers, the ones that live here, the ones that work here, the ones that are going to die here, want an explanation, okay? They want an explanation. We don't really care if somebody called the county or not. We don't care that Jim Mann is the one that brought it up, that it was his idea. And we don't need 50 other people from the Democratic Party or liberals or independents or the libertarians or anybody else to call up and get up a gang to beg somebody to do this. You're supposed to be our representatives.
Yes.
You are supposed to represent us. Get up there and answer our questions, because coming to a council meeting is not feasible for everybody. It is not feasible for everybody, and it's not a give and take. It's a parliamentary type setup. We can't get answers that way. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid of answering our questions? Because there are plenty of places that we've had town hall meetings. There have been town hall meetings before. I don't understand what the reluctance is. All 5 of you can come. If you can sit on that board, you can answer our questions. Otherwise, if you're not willing to represent all of us and sit together and answer these questions, then you need to resign.
Right.
Have a great week.
And the ones that are afraid are the ones that said they saved $8 million or $7 million or $10 million, and they actually went up $250,000.
All right, well, there you go. There's a whole lot more to discuss in, 10 days? We're going to be off for 10 days. That's right. Next show won't be this Sunday. We will have conversations with Chris coming up Sunday at 7 o'clock. We do appreciate everybody being a part of the show. My final thoughts tonight here is, number one, we have 3 council members, 2 that are leading the pack of disingenuous. One needs to make a statement. And that statement needs to be, are you with us or are you against us? And if you're against us, then we're going to continue. But if you're with us and you want to do the right thing, now is the opportunity to do that right thing and say, hey, look, I'll come, let's talk. Open up, be part of your constituency, because I'm telling you, your constituency, and I'm referring to Don, your constituency is still livid on the comment you made, will you go away?
You're wasting your time, Jeff. He's not coming.
Look, I am trying to be positive here in a world right now in Oconee County that has completely turned batshit crazy.
Hey, you've always got a chance to walk it back, and that's what's wrong with our representation up in my corner. Is that dude never walked it back?
Well, he doesn't. He's very arrogant, and he doesn't have the emotional intelligence to walk it back.
And that is one of the reasons why Jeff won
day,
that
man.
prestigious F. Chris Ruin Award from the World Broadcasting Association.
Oh, look, before we go any further, I'm going to lay it on the line. I am tired of the fighting that I am seeing everywhere. We have a county that's at stake. People need to have good, honest conversations between everybody, and this tit for tat that's going on is absolutely mind-boggling. At the end of the day, if we don't stop this, we are setting this county up for a complete, utter failure. And I'm telling you, Kathy, I disagree with something you said. We've already went over the cliff. We went over the cliff 2 years ago when this Republican Party was completely destroyed by David McMahon. David McMahon's put this in motion with the OCC. They're responsible. That's created this mess in Oconee County.
I agree, Jeff.
They are. Hold on. They are completely responsible because they came in and they decided that, we got to get rid of them. We got to put all our people in here. They are what we're paying for now. And until something is done and this organization is still in charge, and they're going to be in charge, my friends, they ain't a damn thing we can sit here every damn week and continue. But what I want to do with this show going forward is I want to call them out. I want to continue doing the news the way we need to do it. People are dying in Oconee County to hear news. They want to hear what we have to say. Tonight we had a great roundtable discussion about taxes. That's on everybody's mind. And for the disingenuous folks that love to part this fear, it's a fear tactic. And people buy into this fear all the time when it comes to this group. Go look on the Seneca Journal and start just reading it for yourself. One after the other. It's like who's got a bigger penis. That's what it is. It's like who's got a bigger penis.
I just hope that at the end of all of this, David McMahon gets his spot in the Oconee Museum as the guy who destroyed the county.
He's the one that's responsible.
Yes.
And he admitted it in January of last year that I failed the party. It came right out of his own words. He created this monster alone, and I'll tell you somebody else that created this monster. Wayne McCall created this monster.
But he's getting his own city now.
Wayne McCall created this part. You know why? Because he pulled Matt Durham in and started telling him, blah, 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 blah. This is exactly where we're going forward. If you don't believe me, just wait. When's that debate coming up, Randy?
You know what? I ain't heard any more about it.
That's funny how things like that.
Well, I guess I'll get a text message here in a few minutes.
But I do need to tell you this. I went ahead and bought a sawmill, so if he's ready to start cutting trees, I'm ready for him.
Hey, where's the debate going to be?
I don't know. We're supposed to be debating.
How about?
I mean, he's wanting to debate us.
You could even have it at Hardee's.
Well, we can't have it in McMahon's barn because I can't go over there.
Yeah, you're on trespass notice. I don't know if he could find his way to Westminster. Yeah. Anyway, that's out. I got to go. We're way past the time.
Yep.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Y'all have a good one.